What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we got a really awesome video. We're going to look at the top 10 final girls or guys. There's a couple guys on the list in movie history. Now, primarily the final girl, final guy is a staple of the horror slasher genre primarily. But I do have some action and thrillers in here as well. So it's not just horror movies, but obviously most of them are. But here's a list of what I feel are the top 10 final girls or guys. And my criteria was mainly competence. I mean, are these guys capable of handling the situation that's thrown at them? And I also looked at, how much they rise to the occasion versus the threat that they're facing. Some of these people are highly trained and handle it very well. And some of these people are not highly trained and they still rise to the occasion. So those are sort of the things that I looked at, as well as personality, enjoyment of watching them on screen, and just overall how much ass do they kick. So here's my list, top 10. We're going to get into it right now. Let's kick this list off with a bang, shall we? Let's start with Grace from Ready or Not. Now, she was preparing for the happiest day of her life as she's set to marry the love of her life, Alex, and join his family. And growing up without a family, that meant a lot to her. And she learns that in order to do that, she's going to have to play this twisted game of hide and seek where Alex and his family are going to try to kill her because they believe that if she survives till dawn, the family's cursed. And what follows is just a woman who is thrown into the lion's den and just absolutely answers every single call. Samara Weaving is electric as the final girl, and it's an amazing transformation from beginning to end. The only reason she doesn't get a higher spot on the list is both the quality of the other candidates ahead of her, obviously, and the fact that she doesn't actually defeat all of the family. She does a great job of surviving, a couple of really brutal kills for sure, but at the end, they all just kind of blow up. So, she's deserving of a spot on the list, absolutely badass Grace from Ready or Not, but she's just going to come in at number 10. Now let's follow up one amazing transformation with another. At number 9, we have Doug from the Hills Have Eyes remake. Now this dude had First Guy Dead vibes all movie, and then he turns into fucking Rambo and goes absolutely nuclear on all these mutant hillbillies. And Doug is introduced as, I believe he's the husband of one of the potential final girls that we're all seeing. We're all assuming that he's toast. But the final scene when he infiltrates the mutant compound and then proceeds to murk several of those bastards, rescue his baby. I mean, that's Father of the Year shit right there, boys and girls. And we never even saw it coming. He'll be your Doug. Number 8 on the list is going to be Sarah Connor from the Terminator franchise. And for some, this is way too high on the list for someone of her caliber, and I get it. She is the ultimate survivor. She goes through hell in that first movie, caught completely off guard. She's just sitting there having, she's freaked out, of course, but she has no idea the extent of what's coming for her. And she survives the first movie, in spite of the threat of the T-800. Then she goes on to become an absolute one-person wrecking crew. And, her performance in part 2 is legendary. And, not only is she capable in her own mind, but she's, the mother and the primary mentor of John Connor, who will go on to be the savior of the human race. And he does not become who he is without his mother's teachings and knowledge. She's incredibly tough and tenacious. Sarah Connor's proven time and time again that neither man nor machine are much of a match for her. At number 7, a personal favorite of mine, Nancy Thompson from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, she shows incredible resilience throughout the runtime of the first movie because Freddy Krueger proves to be a true test of attrition in most situations. He enjoys the hunt. He enjoys the fear and toying and playing with his food before the main course. So Nancy watches all of her friends get killed one by one, and she knows who's doing it, and there's nothing she can do. She's completely powerless. It's the parents know sort of what's going on, but she's alone and she's surrounded by people who seem to only want to get her killed. And yet she still outsmarts the villain and comes up with an ingenious, if not underwhelming, way to vanquish her scary dream man. She just doesn't give him any power. She just realizes that he's imaginary and he disappears, which is pretty badass. But at the end of the day, It's just going to get you on the number 7 spot. Nancy, I don't know how you did it. I probably would have folded in that situation. I love my sleep, but you kicked the shit out of Freddie and you got the number 7 spot. Number 6 is going to be the Macho Man Randy Savage himself, Dutch from Predator, played by the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this guy is larger than life, and he oozes more machismo than a Hooters at happy hour. But this guy, who has never met an enemy that he couldn't defeat, watches his men get butchered one by one by this invisible, jungle assailant, and he has, physical strength, but against the Predator, it's absolutely nothing. And he does manage to get one survivor all the way to the chopper, and then he goes toe-to-toe with this thing and has to use his mind to outsmart it. And that's what I like the most about Dutch, is obviously, Arnold is this mountain of a man, could physically empower most things, but against the Predator, he has better weapons, he's just as strong, if not stronger, and he's more physically imposing, so Dutch has to use his brain, and he booby traps and sets a trap for the Predator, ends up outsmarting him and getting the last laugh, although we all know how that goes. So anyway, Dutch, you're a badass. You look like a badass while you're doing it. I love the mud scene, and I love this character. One of my favorite movies, one of my favorite final guys, Dutch from Predator. Number 5 is going to be Crystal from The Hunt. Now, in terms of sheer competence, Crystal could arguably be number 1. And although her past is ambiguous, we have no reason not to trust her word that she's gained nothing from lying in that situation about her history in the military. So we have to assume that this woman is very highly trained. And then she's wrongfully targeted and hunted down by a bunch of rich, inept buffoons. And it's especially satisfying to watch her enact her revenge tour once she realizes, the true extent of what's going on. And she survives to the end based on her talents, which seem to be quite extensive. But it's her deadpan charm, cold delivery that really wins me over. And I'm very rarely been this satisfied watching a movie. But well done, Crystal. How do you feel after all that?
Fucking great.
Number 4 is going to be the poster child. And it feels wrong putting Laurie Strode at 4. But also justified when you look at the girls in front of her. And Laurie Strode is the final girl for most people, and to me, she is absolutely one of the greats. And she boasts an impressive 7 appearances in the famed Hall of Fame franchise. Her adversary is as scary as they come, so she gets points there. But what ultimately holds Laurie back is, and it pains me to say this, but she constantly finds herself in the background of her own movie. And the filmmakers love to put her in a hospital bed for long stretches, but in spite of that, she constantly returns. She always rises to the occasion. In the first movie, she's completely caught off guard. Second movie, I feel like she kind of knows it's coming. H2O is the movie that made her a legend for me. I mean, I adore that movie, and the ending when she chops his fucking head off is legendary. So, and then you have to count Resurrection. It did happen. It is canon. Kind of sullies that a little bit, but then luckily we got the reboot. And she got a decent trilogy. I'm not the biggest fan of the David Gordon Green trilogy, but I think they did a damn good job of at least giving Laurie a final happy ending. So bravo, you're definitely a legend, and you deserve the spot near the top. Number 4, Laurie Strode. At number 3, we're going to have Sidney Prescott from the Scream franchise. And my favorite thing about Sidney is very similar to Laurie in that, she's very ordinary and innocent. She's smart. Of course, she's smart, but not at all trained for the circumstances that, she faces. And yet time and time again, she's able to rise to the occasion. And I give Sidney a couple bonus points because these killers that are constantly coming after her could be anyone, and they could come from anywhere. And that constant fear, paired with her many appearances and victories. I mean, she's always looking for a weapon, looking for a way to defend herself. She's constantly fighting these guys off. Those victories, those wins that she gets, paired with her, coming back in part 4 and 5, adopting more of a mentor role and helping the next kind of generation face their ghost face. And she still gets her hands dirty. She still has a couple of, awesome moments in those movies. And I think that she's more than deserving, absolutely deserving of this top 3 spot. Sidney, you're a legend. Number 2 is going to be Erin from Your Next. Now, she is easily the most level-headed and competent final girl in a slasher home invasion movie that I've ever seen. And her childhood was spent growing up in a survivalist compound where she learned many, many, many useful skills that make her, as they say in the movie, a very, very good killer. So from the start, her action, she goes to take charge. She's trying to get the family to safety. Her kill on Tiger Mask with the meat smasher, that's literally exactly what every horror fan screams at the TV after the first shot lands. She actually does it. She double, triple, quadruple taps him. I love her ability to read the moment. If it's time to fight, she fights. If it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge, she leaves without hesitation. And she is what every person hopes that they would be if they were faced with a life or death situation. And her kill on Felix is legendary. Number 1 is Ripley from Aliens. I mean, of course it's Ripley. Total fucking badass. Badass, good girl, smart enough to leave the flare trail at the end of Aliens, constantly the voice of reason when for several movies everyone around her is losing their minds. She's proven time and time again that not only is she a physical, threat and a real survivalist, a combatant, but she's also typically the smartest and most strategic mind in the room. She likes to come up with the plans. She can read the ductwork. She's usually the one telling everybody, what needs to be sealed off and what needs to be done to survive, and it usually works. And literally, she comes face to face with the queen bitch herself and still marches out of there with Newt, a girl she had just met, and still risked her own life multiple times to save her. It's a damn shame what they did to Newt in part 3. But Ripley has 4 appearances throughout the franchise to varying qualities, but really it's never Sigourney Weaver's fault. She always brings her A game. And when the writing's on, when the story's on, Ripley is as good as it gets. All right, everyone, so that's my list. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know your top 10, top 5, top 3, your top final guy, final girl. Let me know which one of these people you'd want to be, stuck with in a survival situation. And do you think you could help, or would they have to save your ass the entire time? But guys, thank you all very much for watching. It's an absolute pleasure to continue to do this. Sorry for the kind of break there. I had a lot of work I had to do at work and didn't have time to make any videos, but hopefully I can rectify that in the future and get some more content out to you ASAP. If you have any video ideas, anything you'd like to see me do, comment down below, let me know. I've got a long list of stuff I want to do, so I've got plenty more coming your way. I really appreciate it. If you're seeing this on Friday, have a great weekend. Be good people, be good to each other, and take care of yourselves.